Alright Pistons fans, so in today's video we are going to be taking another look at the NBA draft. And in this specific video we are going to be talking about Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell is a 6'2", 205-pound point guard out of Baylor. And I've seen him on a lot of mock drafts. I've seen him from anywhere between 5 to 8. So let me give you guys a brief rundown of what he's done in college so far. So in college, he spent 3 years at Baylor. As I mentioned, he's 22 years old right now. So this previous year was his junior year in college. And during his first year, freshman year, he averaged 3 points, 2 assists, didn't really do much. His three-point shooting wasn't that good as well. His second year in college, he took a really big leap. He went up to 10 points per game and 1.5 steals per game. And then he also went up to 4 assists per game. And in this third year in college with Baylor, he ended up winning a national championship. And then he also averaged 14 points, 2 steals, and 5 assists. So those are the numbers that he put up in college. So let's talk about who he is as a player. So the first thing that you have to mention is this dude's defense. Man, I really enjoy watching this man's game. And if we want to get specific about it, I recommend that you guys go watch him versus Cade Cunningham, because that's the big guy in the draft that everybody wants. So you can see Davion Mitchell, elite defender, versus Cade Cunningham. I really recommend that you guys go watch that game. Now, I'm not saying that he shut down Cade, but he did have a few plays where he guarded him and did really solid. As a defender, this dude is really good in the man-to-man, one-on-one. He can guard any point guards in the NBA. I feel like he'll do a really good job at going up against these dudes who have great handles, great shooting abilities. He'll be able to stick in front of them because he has athleticism as well. He's quick. He can move with these guys. He won't have any problem defending NBA players at the next level. And the next point that I want to mention is his athleticism. He is a very athletic player. As I just mentioned, on defense, he can keep up with guys. He can move around. He'll get back on defense on plays. He can run and transition on offense. He's a very good athlete, very fast, very quick. And he has hops as well, so if you give him an open lane, he might dunk the ball. And the next thing that I want to mention, and I know Pistons fans will really like this, the grit of Davion Mitchell. I really love it. This dude is a gritty player, man. He's the type of guy who's going to get in the NBA. He's going to dive for loose balls. He's going to fight over the tough, hard screens. He's going to hustle on plays. He's going to get in dudes' faces. He is one of those gritty players that I really like, someone who will just get in there and get the job done. And with the way that the Pistons are trying to build this team, as Trey Weaver is trying to return us to the bad boy style of play, picking up someone like Davion will really do us well. And also having Isaiah Stewart on the roster who fits that mold, getting another guy like Davion will really help us. My next point is that he has an above average handle, so he'll do decent in the NBA with that. He's a fairly aggressive scorer on occasion. And my last point is his shooting. Now in college, he's gotten better and better with his shooting percentages every single year. And then this season, he was at 44.7% from the three-point line. So his three-point shooting is already there. But there is some negatives to that. And now we're moving on to the negative portion of the video. So as I just mentioned, the negative portion of the video, the first thing I'm going to say is that his free throw shooting, not good. 64% this year from the free throw line is not good. And also, he doesn't get to the line enough. If you watch his games and then if you go and look at the stats, he just doesn't get to the free throw line in as many games as he should have. You know, there were some games where he didn't go to the free throw line at all, and you can't have that as a point guard in today's NBA. And then when he does get to the free throw line, he's not hitting most of his free throws. He's only making 64% of them, which is not good. And then also, to go along with the bad thing about his shooting is that, yes, he averages 44% from the three-point line, but at times he can be a streaky shooter. In some games, he'll get a little bit too trigger happy. He'll throw up threes that he shouldn't throw up. He's a bit of a streaky shooter sometimes. Another negative that I want to mention is his age, guys. He's 22 years old. I'm not really a big fan ever of drafting anybody over 20 years old, unless you have a championship contending team where, you know, you could look at somebody like Kendrick Nunn, who was like 23 last year, 24 years old right now. You know, I would be cool with that. But in the draft, picking in the top 5, I would not really want to get someone who's 22 years old. You know, Obi Toppin was a bit older last year. I liked Obi Toppin, but the age is also a negative thing that I didn't like about him. And here again, man, 22 years old, I'm not a big fan of that. Another negative is that his size. Now, this one isn't the end-all be-all. He's 6'2", 205 pounds. Not every point guard in the NBA is, you know, it's like Killian Hayes, who's 6'5". You know, you have your Damian Lillards out there. You have your Currys out there who's smaller and shorter, and they can work. But I do feel like, you know, NBA point guards are getting taller, stronger every single year. And I would prefer somewhere around 6'3", 6'4". But Davion is 6'2", so it's not something that I'm really worried about, but that can be a problem. The next thing that I want to say is that the point guard position is already filled. So if we end up drafting someone like Davion, he's going to be going up against Killian Hayes, Frank Jackson, DSJ, and Saban Lee. That position is already filled, and the only way I take a point guard right there is if it's someone who is like guaranteed to be the starter, guaranteed to already be better than the guys at that position. And Davion, I would say he's better than some of our point guards, but not all of them. And I just don't know about drafting another point guard in the top 5 who's 22 years old in that position. And then some people will say, moving to the shooting guard position, we got Hamid Diallo right there, we got Josh Jackson right there. And then do you want a 6'2" shooting guard? I really don't know if you want that. And then the last thing that I want to say is that my player comp for him, he really reminds me of someone like Gary Payton and Drew Holiday. Guys who can score on occasion, but the main thing about them is that they're defenders. They really play good on the perimeter, on the defensive end of the floor. So Pistons fans, let me know how y'all feel in the comment section below about all the information that I gave y'all. Davion, solid player. I just don't know if I want the Pistons to select him because he's 22 years old. He's a bit undersized and he can't hit free throws right now, but he can play defense. He is athletic and he can score on occasion. He's a bit aggressive, but I just don't know if I will personally like the Pistons to select him, especially with the current position that the Pistons are in right now. It's a rebuilding team trying to get better. If the Pistons were a team trying to compete for a championship, I would be really happy with getting someone like Davion. But right now with this rebuilding scenario, I just don't know. But at the end of the day, Davion, really solid prospect. He's going to have a pretty good career wherever he ends up going, and I wish to do the best. So Pistons fans, let me know how y'all feel in the comment section below. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank y'all for 1K. And I'm